Hi guys! So you think you need to spend £100 just to get a good set of darts to play well? Well, you really don't. Hi guys, I'm Ricky from Universal Darts, and I'll be going through with you today why you don't need to spend a fortune to be able to play good darts. Remember guys, performance comes from the player, not the price tag. So the big darts myth, mainly promoted by brilliant marketing strategies, is that expensive darts equal better performance. Now, in reality, grip, consistency, and comfort are far more important for you as a darts player. Many beginners, people who have just started out in the sport, will assume a higher price means better accuracy. When in reality, what you need to do is put the effort in and build up your ability using a set that is comfortable for you, yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean you need to spend hundreds of pounds per item. So the reason this has come up is I don't know if you guys have seen in the news, prices in the last year has gone up well over 300%. This has forced major manufacturers to increase their retail prices, reduce the value of their mid-range and cheaper sets, which of course means that you're paying more but not necessarily getting more simply because of the world's economic situation. So this of course in turn means that making smart buying is more and more important than ever. At the end of the day, budget conscious decisions are going to now matter more than ever in a world where living is so hard for everyone at the moment. So overspending in darts doesn't necessarily guarantee improvement. This is a real place where you can save some money. You just got to find that right level for you. Now, here's the good news. If you look around properly, you can find excellent tungsten darts at a fraction of the price of the top end ranges. So you may ask, what actually makes a good dart barrel? So focus on what really matters here. So if you're thinking about tungsten percentage, 80% is fine, but 90% is more than plenty for most players, and it is the most standardized amount when you are looking for either a pro player or a pub player. It doesn't really matter. The grip style, you've got lots of grip styles. You've got ring grip, knurled, straight, tapered. You've also got, of course, the now famous, thanks to Luke Littler, pixel grips. Then you've got to consider things like barrel shape. So you may have a grip style in mind, but if you have the wrong barrel shape, it doesn't grip into your hand correctly, or it's too grippy, which is actually a problem. So barrel shape, you may need to have a think about: do you want a straight barrel, a torpedo, a bomber style? There's lots of other ones, scallop as well. So really have a think about how those darts will fit in your hand when you're releasing as well as when you're gripping. The other thing that you'll have to consider is what weight suits your throw. Now, truthfully, a gram here and there doesn't make that much difference if you're new and learning anyway. But bearing in mind that if you are going to pick up looking back to Stephen Bunting's darts way back when, a 12-gram set, you're probably going to find that quite hard to use as a brand new player. So bearing in mind, all these factors exist at all price points as well. So you'll be able to find what you're looking for, breaking down what really matters to you, and then properly searching through hopefully our website. But if not, you can obviously look in different stores and so on. And you will see that, if you look hard enough, you will find something that suits you. May not be in the right color, or you may want to get something slightly changed with the points or so ever. But it is there and it is available. You've just got to broaden your mind and not necessarily go for the first thing that looks like it's £1 million. So you might now be asking, okay, that sounds great, Rick. So how can I save money? Where can I save money? Well, it's easier than you think. So lesser known brands that are not necessarily the ones that you always see on telly. So at the moment, you'll see Windmill, fantastic darts out there, of course, Red Dragon and Target. They're the ones you will all see on the telly very easily and a lot. You will also see some other brands that focus around very top end, high end milling, like Shots, which are some fantastic darts, but can mean that they have more expensive ranges. They do have cheaper darts, all of these, by the way. But as a general rule, what you can do is look for a lesser known brand that offers actually the same or similar quality. So Mission has been a brilliant upcoming brand in the last few years. I know if any of you guys watch the Mission Darts channel on YouTube, you'll see a lot of promotion around their boards, but also their darts are really good as well. You can also look for last year's designs. So old models tend to come out of circulation and they become discounted in the shops. So have a look, see what you can find there. You might find something perfect for you. It's also worth mentioning that value ranges from big brands can often outperform premium sets. So you may get a premium set with a player name on it, one of the top players in the Premier League, for instance, and they may be very similar or similar for what you need as something you can buy with, say, a more generic name dart, where they've just got a different set of sets with different shapes and milling, which can help with your grip and how you throw. So just remember when thinking about this that it's not about what the guy on telly is throwing, it's about what you're going to be able to throw. So you may be asking, why are some so much more expensive than others? If I've got two sets of 90% tungsten darts, why are some of them £150 and some of them £30? Conventional logic says there shouldn't be much difference. However, some have very fancy and expensive machining, which takes a lot more time, which in turn raises the value and cost for manufacturing. Coatings can also be relevant. So if you have just a plain tungsten dart, which is just like a silver color, then it's not going to cost as much as if you get it coated with black or gold or something like that. And also player branding and marketing with obviously branding for the manufacturer as well can play a big part in the pricing levels. The truth is, with most budget darts, you get the same core material, which is still tungsten. You get similar performance, and you're often just paying for looks, not results. So if you're there for the core of doing as well as you can in the sport, aim for the performance, not necessarily the looks. The real talk, guys. Now, we will be bringing out a load of videos with some little tips, probably some practice games as well. I've not started filming, so bear with me. And consistency, the truth is, it comes from practice, muscle memory, and throw mechanics. A £25 set or a £30 set in the right hands will beat someone who doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't want to learn with a £100 brilliant set every day of the week. So if you are new, you may be thinking, okay, I'm a beginner. I need a bit of a strategy. How much should I spend? Where should I look? That sort of thing. So smart beginner strategy, as far as I'm concerned, would be to start with a solid budget set, somewhere between the 20 to 35, no more than £40 range. And what you can do then is, because it's not as expensive, you can experiment with the flights and the shafts. That will change the angle it goes in on the board and how it feels to release and so on. And upgrade only when you understand if something isn't working for you or you need to change, so you understand what your preferences are. My final takeaway from this is you don't need expensive darts to improve. They are nice. They're great to look at. Don't get me wrong. I'm not pretending I've never spent money on an expensive set of darts. I've got loads of them. But it's not needed. That's the key word in here. With prices rising, smart buying is now key. And especially if you're new, like, do you really want to spend 300 quid between a set of darts, some flights, and getting your setup as well, your board, your surround, your light, and so on? So focus on the feel. Focus on how it can feel for you when you're throwing, not necessarily on the hype of what you see on the telly. Guys, I encourage you all to drop a comment with what darts you use and how much they cost. Don't worry if they're expensive. I know personally, I spend a fortune on darts, but we are just curious to see how many of you are using the top end, most expensive darts, and how many of you have used something a bit more scaled back. So please subscribe for more honest darts advice. No nonsense, just real talk.